Hello everyone, my name is ᚖWow, and due to popular demand, I'm going to continue doing these video devlog things for the game Legend 2. So we're going to start off with a little bit of something different. Instead of jumping straight into the actual game itself, we're here in Blender to actually do a little bit of a quality check with a model that we got for the character, thanks to Empty Space Studios, our modeler and animator. So let's open this baby up, shall we? Alright, here's the actual model dude himself. Looks pretty good. I think visually he looks pretty good. And since we're going for more of a plasticky, cartoony look, that will definitely be amplified in the game. So what I need to do right now is just kind of test out all of his joints and what he actually has on him. Such as this bone right here. If I go into pose mode, it doesn't really look like much. It doesn't even really move anything, but what that's there for is for the swords, the different types of swords, and being able to change in between them, because we'll be able to bind the sword model to that specific bone, and it'll make everything a lot easier when switching between swords and stuff like that, instead of trying to create a model for each individual type of sword. I'm just gonna move things around like this, just see how they work. Yep. Okay. Well, it looks pretty good. Soon we'll be able to import that into the actual game itself. But before we do that, there's a little bit of something that we need to take care of first. And that little something is the absolutely depressingly god-awful excuse for AI scripting. How it works right now is that I have to create a completely new script for every single one of the enemy AIs, which means that let's say we have about 100 enemy AIs in the game and each of them takes 2 scripts in total. That would be 200 different scripts for 100 AIs. Which is absolutely unacceptable. So what I'm going to do right now is try and make it so that every AI can use the exact same script without anything getting all wacky crazy for some reason. So I'm going to take some time to do that, as well as adjust a few other things, and I will see you in a bit. Alright, hello again. It's me. So the last recording that I made, it was actually taking place last night. I was planning on getting this done at that time, but I ended up realizing it was a lot harder than I originally thought, and I passed out halfway through. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update of what I have right now and then continue working on it. So right now, once you walk across this barrier, you'll notice that only 3 or only 1 of the enemy AIs is actually moving. It's because, like previously mentioned in the other video, the variables that they use for some reason kind of melt together at some points, which kind of just messes up the entire script that they're using, which is why before in the previous video I had them each using an individual script, like each one of them using a unique script, which is pretty awful. So this is what it looks like right now, except for the fact that I changed the way the battle hitbox worked so that no matter how many enemies are in this scene, it will always activate every single one of them. And it took me a little bit of time to figure out how to actually do that, but I did eventually, using Stack Overflow, figure out what was going on and what I could do to fix it. So that's pretty cool, and I'm glad I got that out of the way, because the only thing left I need to do is implement the updated AI to make it not horrifically bad, and then start implementing the new character model, as well as, hopefully if I have the time, just a bunch of overall polish and stuff to make the game not look so bland and unfun to play. So I'm going to start working on finishing up that enemy AI, and I will report to you when I am done with that. See ya. Alright, hello again. So that last part about making the AI independent using the same script over and over was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, because originally I was using 2 different scripts that were communicating with each other, both on the same game object, which when they were transferred into multiple game objects, their communication got all wonky and stuff. So what I ended up doing is just combining both of those scripts into one, so that now if we go over here, I have 2 different AIs and they both have independent thought now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, sorry about that last clip. Apparently I'm stupid, and each one of these episodes is going to have some kind of technical difficulty for one of the clips. But yeah, now that that's out of the way, the only other thing I really need to do right now is implement the player model, so that's going to be really exciting. As we speak, actually, Empty Space Studios, our lead animator and modeler, is working on all the animations for the player. So once I implement the model, all I have to do is wait for him to finish up some of those animations, and then we'll be golden. And it is only Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to figure out other things to do in the meantime. But yeah, I'm going to start working on that, and I will update you when I have things to update you with. See ya. Alright, so I'm back, and I gotta say, I haven't completely implemented the player model yet, but from what I've seen so far, it's going absolutely terrible. What the hell is even happening? What's going on? I don't understand. I'm honestly kind of terrified. It's been a few hours since I last recorded that clip, and during that time there was a little bit of a back and forth between me and Empty Space Studios, and eventually we figured out all the problems. A lot of it had to do with just the rotation data of some of the bones in the model being all messed up and stuff. So we ended up fixing that, as well as the colors for the model, because I found a way to extract the materials in Unity and edit them in the game so that they fit the actual Blender model. But not only that, during that time I also was messing with a lot of the lighting settings for Unity to make it hopefully look a lot less awful, because let's be honest, things like shadows in the game up until this point have been pretty horrendous. Like, it was either you were a color or you were just pitch black. But yeah, overall during that time I was able to finally, for the first time in this game's development, I was able to finally implement a working helicopter mechanic. That's right, we're a helicopter now. Alright, I'm kidding. All jokes aside though, the implementation of the model hasn't gone exactly smoothly, but it's definitely been a learning experience for me and everybody else on the team, and it'll definitely be easier later. But as of now, we have this player model implemented, and I could not be happier. As you might have noticed, he's moving a little bit differently than he used to. That's because Unity, when there's an error in the player controller that I have, it'll actually half disable the player controller until I fix the errors, as to not like completely absolutely break things. And most of these errors just come from me having to delete the player model and then add a new one, so all the references to that old player model don't exist anymore. But for now, before I do that, I'm gonna have to implement a sword model, because like previously mentioned in the other clips before, the sword model is actually going to be a separate model that we can easily change for other sword models. And this time I'm gonna try and make sure that all the things like the sword trails and everything like that, all the cool effects, are looking really nice, and I'll update you when that happens. So I'm back with the sword thing, and as you may notice, there's actually a sword in his hand now, so that's pretty cool. Like previously mentioned, there's actually a bone in the model that I can attach to the sword, which makes this a lot more convenient for me and everybody else on the team. But other than the giant sword, I've also added this trail, so whenever the player swings, it'll give a cool little effect. Obviously, this isn't what it's going to look like in the final game, but it's pretty okay for now. And obviously, once I'm finished with this character model, it's not going to be active all the time. It'll only activate when the player is actually swinging their sword and not just walking around and stuff. But yeah, that's what I got so far. And my next goal is to just start fixing up all the errors and stuff in all of the scripts to hopefully make this start actually functioning again like an actual character controller. After that, all that's left is to just implement the animations and we're golden. I think my plan after all of that, like I said at the beginning of this video, is I'm just gonna start doing a bunch of effects and just polish and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get that done, and I will see you in probably a while. This is going to take quite a bit of time. Alright, so I'm back. It's a brand new day. It's Wednesday. Today I took the time to just fix up all the bugs and the problems and stuff with the character controller that I've been having for quite a while now. So now that, even though his animations haven't really changed, or lack thereof actually, he can actually move again. Ignore the sword swiping. I never took the time to actually disable that yet. But yeah, he does move a lot smoother. Well, I mean, I guess not literally, because he's vibrating for some reason. But yeah, there's a lot of bugs that I never really mentioned before, like how if you were holding down shift to run, that your jump height would increase for some reason. So I squashed a lot of stupid bugs like that, just to kind of really polish up character controller. And I think other than animations and just general overall polish, my job is pretty much done. I know I keep saying that, and I keep having and finding more work to do, which is probably inevitable soon anyway. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm really hesitant to add any polish and life to the game yet without the animations, because a lot of those would require specific timings and stuff that only the animations could really provide. And so I want to wait until I get at least the idle and walk animations, which I already have, and then 2 of the basic attack animations like I had before in the other player model. So I'm going to both talk with our animator and implement all the animations that I have and will get. And then I will see you later, and then we can start implementing cool things like the sword slashing effect and just overall a bunch of cool looking stuff. Hi, so it's been a little while. So if you've been following our devlog, and if you haven't, you totally should, link in the description, you'll know that recently our team has been going through a lot of personal stuff, and development has been incredibly slow on the part of pretty much everyone on the team. So that's why we've been gone for about a week, but we're gonna try not to do that again, and if we do, it's going to be very, very rare. But anyway, onto the game stuff. The first thing you might notice is that the character is now actually animated with his little idle animation thing. But another thing I've been working on is stuff like animation transitions, so it'll be a smooth transition between walking and running and stuff. There's still a few bugs and glitches here and there, like his leg turning into jelly for some reason whenever he moves around, but I have fixed things like him vibrating across the floor instead of smoothly sliding, so that's pretty good. Another thing that I've been working on is stuff like re-implementing his attack animation, so if I go wah wah, his attacks will be pretty smooth, and it'll transition between states pretty nicely, which I think is pretty cool. Now today's Wednesday, and I only have tonight and a little bit of tomorrow to get as much as I can about this done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to quickly try and implement all the other animations and mechanics like crouching and falling and stuff like that. And then tomorrow we're going to do some bug fixes, and if we have time, which we probably will not now that I'm looking at the grand scheme of things, I'm going to do things like when you're running, have the camera actually pan in the direction that you need to look at, because if you're running right now, you're pretty much running blind. You don't know what's in front of you until you actually hit it. So that's a no good. After I implement all that stuff and release this video, the plan for the time in between Thursday and Saturday, I'm going to spend just bug fixing and stuff like that, and just trying to absolutely polish everything I can, and hopefully make it a little bit enjoyable. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that, as you may notice, the attacks don't actually work yet. I haven't re-implemented the attack function completely yet, because right now my main focus is just the animations and stuff. Like, this doesn't look right. I need to add just stuff, you know? So yeah, I'm going to implement all the other animations and mechanics, but it's going to take a while, so I will see you after that.
Alright, so I'm back. It's Thursday now. It's been about maybe 10 hours since the last update, and other than all the glitches, which I still need to fix, but I really don't have time to do that right now, I managed to get all the animations that I possibly could in. So here's the walking, the running, and the idle, and there's the crouching, crouch walking, and there's the jumping, and then there's the 2 sword attacks, and that's about all of the time I have to work on this right now. But I can assure you, from after I release this video, I'm going to be doing a lot of bug fixing and overall polishing like I thought I would be able to do this time. So stay tuned for that update. It's not going to be in video form though, since it's not exactly as important as something like this. I also need to replace a few models and actually and implement things still, like having it actually able to, you know, hit the dudes. Oh, and sorry if I sound really tired, it's probably because I am. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm pretty happy with the progress we made as of now. But right now, all I really want to do is take a nap. So, see ya.